Okay, just let me know if he does anything, okay?
Over here.
Yeah, we got him on the way. Just let me know if this guy does anything else.
Okay, so the operator lets Zimmerman know that we have the police on the way. Just let me know if the person does anything else. And then the reason why I'm assuming the operator says let me know if the person does anything else, because from what Zimmerman said up until this point, the person is still in his sight. He's still visual. He can still see him, and the person was coming towards him, the last statement that he made. So continue.
Okay. These assholes, they always get away.
So let's put a star by this particular clip, because this is a real important part. This, to me, is where the hate crime comes in, because Mr. Zimmerman he then says, these assholes, they always get away. Now, who were the assholes he was referring to that always get away? Well, we would have to rely on his description, and earlier we stated Mr. Zimmerman's description was that this person was a black male in their late teens with a dark gray hoodie, jeans and or sweatpants, and white tennis shoes. So we would have to assume that that's the people he's talking about when he say these assholes. He can't change it now and say that it's some generalized statement of criminals or criminality or anything like that, because he specified who he was following. He knows that this is a teenager who's black, and like I said, he had ample opportunity to say to this young black teenager, or to this teenager who's black, hey, my name is George Zimmerman, I'm a neighborhood watch, you need any help, or you lost, anything. But I'm assuming his fear got the best of him, but that's my assumption. But what we do know for a fact is that Mr. Zimmerman said these assholes always get away. All right, let's continue.
Yeah. When you come to the clubhouse, you come straight in and make a left. Actually, you would go past the clubhouse.
Okay, it says on the left-hand side from the clubhouse?
No, you go in straight through the entrance, and then you make a left. Yeah, you go straight in, don't turn and make a left. Shit, he's running.
He's running? Which way is he running?
Alright, so right here, Mr. Zimmerman is trying to give the operator directions so that the operator can give the police directions to where Mr. Zimmerman is, so he can be the person that points out to the police, where's this suspicious individual, this teenage black male in his late teens, black male with the gray hoodie, jeans and all sweatpants and white t-shirt, those assholes that always get away. Mr. Zimmerman is trying to give some good directions, and he seems a little confused on trying to figure out what's the best directions to give. But at the end of the clip, you hear him say, shit, he's running. And then right after he says that, you hear the chiming sound that you would hear when the door opens in the car. So he immediately gets out of his car. And this is important if you wanted to kind of really get into the details of this case and research it. I would suggest going online, looking up the landscape of the geographical area in which this gated community was in, and you'll see that Zimmerman basically was closer, probably in the middle of the complex, but closer to the main entrance. And we have to assume that Trayvon was somewhere in that same vicinity, because he's still kind of visual, but he immediately starts to run. He's running now, basically. So this is what we know for a fact, is that Mr. Zimmerman is trying to give the 911 operator directions to where he is, and then all of a sudden the suspicious individual, or Trayvon as we know him, ran, and Mr. Zimmerman's door is open.
Down towards the other entrance of the neighborhood.
Okay, which entrance is that he's heading towards?
The back entrance.
Now in this clip you can hear the movement of Mr. Zimmerman is more erratic. He's picking up. You hear the wind sound over the telephone, so you can tell that he's kind of like in motion outside of the car, because inside of the car the environment would be stale, and you wouldn't be able to hear that the same way you hear it on the phone. The operator says, well, what direction is he running, to what entrance? And then Zimmerman states the rear entrance. So from what we hear from the conversation, and like I said, if you do the research and you look it up online, the geographical area of the gated community, you will see that means that this suspicious individual that we know to be Trayvon was running away from Zimmerman. And let's remember what had happened before that Trayvon stopped, then looked around at houses, as Zimmerman said, then looked at Zimmerman, then got closer, because he said he kept saying he was coming towards him. He looked at Zimmerman some more, and then at some point in time he put his hoodie on, as I'm assuming it, when Zimmerman says he put his shirt on, and then he ran. So now he's running to the back entrance, away from this person that's been following him and keeping eyes on him, riding around, and are now walking around and looking about suspiciously. As Mr. Zimmerman stated, this is suspicious activity. So let's continue. I put a star by this section or this clip also, because this is where the hate crime or the racial part of this case comes into play heavily. The real low mumbling under his breath when Zimmerman says what I and many others believe to be fucking coons. And if you don't know what a coon is a old-timey racial slur that was used against black men during the time of slavery days and through segregation. Now, a lot has been said on whether or not, he said coons. Initially, they said he said something like way off, and I can't remember what it was. Something like punk or something like that had no way. There's no way that it could have been punk. So they kind of switched it up again and said he could have been saying goons, but goons don't seem to fit. Why would he say goons? Then I think they found the best option that they could find. I heard recently that somebody said he was saying fucking cold because it was raining outside and it was cold. And that's fine if you want to believe that, but I would choose not to believe that, and I have reasoning. The reason would be, why would he mumble that? Why wouldn't he say that just as loud as he said everything else, i.e. The description, i.e. These assholes always get away. So he probably didn't assume that saying these assholes always get away was a racial, or could have racial connotation to it. But to say fucking coons, he knew that would be considered a racial statement. He said it low, and I'll prove this because you'll see that Mr. Zimmerman is well aware of what he's saying and how he's saying it while he's on this call. So what we know for a fact is that Zimmerman mumbled something under his breath. You be the judge, and you decide. Listen to the clip a couple more times, but also, for the sake of my argument, to prove that he's guilty and that it's a racial, I'm going to eliminate the coon part, because I don't want to debate over whether or not it was said, because people are going to hold on to that. I'm just going to rely on the racial part that I know is racial when he said these assholes always get away, right after he gave the full description of the person that he seen, and he had a positive description of this being a black teenager. So that's what he was talking about, black teenagers. Continue.
Are you following him?
Yeah.
Okay, we don't need you to do that.
Okay.
Okay, another key part of the evidence. Put a star by this clip. The operator says, "Oh, are you following him?" Zimmerman says, "Yeah." The operator says, "Oh, we don't need you to do that." And then if you listen, you'll hear, and this is just speculation and my gut feeling and my opinion, he sounds disappointed when he says, "Okay." And I say that because this is a key point, because all the people that come out in defense of Zimmerman uses this particular part where he says okay to imply that this meant that he complied with what the operator was saying, and that was to follow this person. I don't think that's true. I think he said okay. He said okay, and he sounded disappointed when he did say it. But that's the fact. So we're going to stick with the facts. The facts are that Zimmerman was following the individual. The operator noticed it, asked him, and then Zimmerman confirmed that he was following the individual, and then the operator said, we don't need you to do that, and then Zimmerman said, okay. Continue.
Alright, sir, what is your name?
George. He ran.
Now, if you listen to this clip, the operator is just simply asking the individual who's on the phone, which is Zimmerman, his name, getting some information. He says George, and while he's talking, you hear that whistling or that sound in the back, not whistling, but ruffling or whatever you want to call it. You hear that sound in the background as if he's still in motion. You hear him kind of whisper his name as if he don't want to say it too loud. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe somebody around. He sounds, and this is, like I said, this is all speculation, but he sounds as if he's creeping, walking, looking like George, like he's in the war or something, and he's a soldier, and he's, you know, going through the bush, and he don't want nobody to hear him or see him coming, type of thing. He's stalking, because, like he said earlier, these fucking assholes always get away. And soon as the person ran, he got out and gave chase, which also, if you want to draw emphasis, would mean that this person is determined to catch this individual. And then you go into 911 calls he made all the time, and his law enforcement background, or the fact that he wants to be in law enforcement, speaks to all that. But once again, that's speculation. Let's stick to the facts. The facts is that the operator asked him his name. He told the operator his name, and once again, you can still hear that sound as if he is moving. Which way he's moving, we don't know. Well, continue.
Alright, George, what's your last name?
Zimmerman.
And George, what's the phone number you're calling from?
407-435-2400.
Alright, George, would you have them on the way? Do you want to meet with the officer when they get out there?
Yeah.
Okay, so at this point in time, the operator's still getting information from Zimmerman, you know, name, phone numbers, stuff like that. And then he says, okay, we have the police coming. Do you want to wait for him out there? Zimmerman says, yeah. Let's continue.
Alright, where are you going to meet with them at?
If they come in through the gate, tell them to go straight past the clubhouse, and straight past the clubhouse and make a left, and then they go past the mailboxes. They'll see my truck.
Okay, what address are you parked in front of?
I don't know. It's a cut through, so I don't know the address.
Okay, do you live in the area?
Yeah.
What's your apartment number?
It's a home. It's 1950. Oh, crap, I don't want to give it out loud. I don't know where this kid is.
Okay, so now the operator basically wants Zimmerman to wait for the police. He's trying to get a good description on where the police can meet him. Well, where are you at? How can they get to you? You know, give us directions to where you at when they come in, you know, stuff like that. Zimmerman is trying to figure out the best way to give this information. You hear him kind of like saying, you know, go over here, do this, go past my car, you know. He's trying to figure it out. He starts to give out his address. And then at some point in time near the end of this segment, he says he don't want to give the full address out because he don't know where this kid is. Notice first he said kid, which implies that he knows this child. Also, the fact that he don't want to give the address out leads me to believe that he is moving in stealth forward. He's still moving in the direction that the individual is at, because if he was moving backwards to go to meet the police, then why would he be afraid of saying his address and somebody hearing it, when we have already confirmed that the person that he was looking at and chasing and following was running away from him? So they obviously didn't want to be close to him, because they were coming toward him at some point in time and then changed their mind and went the other way. So that's what we know for a fact right here, that he's trying to give directions to meet the police. I'm making an assumption that he was still following Trayvon because of what he said on the fact that he didn't want to give his address out in full because he was afraid that Trayvon would hear him. But, you know, that's my opinion. The fact is that he was supposed to be meeting the police. We know that. Let's continue.
Okay, do you want to just meet with him right near the mailboxes then?
Yeah, that's fine.
So it seems to me at this point in time that the operators, you know, just want to get a good description so the police can meet him. So the operator takes matters into their own hand and say, well, you know what, just meet him by the mailbox. He heard mailbox at some point in time through the conversation, and I'm assuming he said, you know what, I'm going to stick with that point. Go to the mailbox, meet the police there. And then Zimmerman says, okay, continue.
All right, George, I'll let him know to meet you with the
Now note here, the 911 operator said, all right, George, I'm gonna have them meet you there. Continue.
Actually, could you have him call me and I'll tell him where I'm at?
Okay.
And then immediately after the operator confirmed the place where Zimmerman was going to meet the police, after trying to get this hammered out so the police can have a place to meet this individual, after all this stuff, after the chasing and all this stuff and the coming out and the guy running and coming up with the description, knowing the fact that this is a child, a teenager, black male with gray hoodie tees, all that, Zimmerman immediately, right after the operator confirmed the place where he would meet the police, which was the mailbox, says, you know what, just tell them to call me when they get here and I'll tell them where I'm at. Why would he do that when he was supposed to be where he said he was going to be? The operator and him just confirmed where he should be, and that was by the mailbox. Why would he go back to the mailbox? How did he get so close to Trayvon? That's where the mystery lies. But like I said, if you listen to the rest of this 911 call and listen to some of the other points that were made, I think it would speak for itself. And the rest of this will speak for itself too. But what we do know from this point here on this clip, the factual information is the operator had determined the place to meet the police was the mailbox, and Zimmerman agreed to that, and then immediately changed his mind and said, you know what, just call me when you get here and I'll tell you where I'm at. Continue.
Yeah, that's no problem.
You need my number? You got it.
Yeah, I got it. 407-435-2400.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, no problem. I'll let them know to call you when they're in the area.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
So now the operator, I guess, just said forget it. He's not going to be at the mailbox, obviously. So, okay, Mr. Zimmerman, I'll take your address, your phone number and all that. Cool. But that's wherein lies the problem. At this point in time, if Zimmerman was doing what he's supposed to have been doing, either as a neighborhood watch or just as a concerned citizen who knows the law, he was supposed to wait for the police. And if he knows where the police is coming, which is the main entrance, why not go to the main entrance? Why not go back to your car? Why not go to the mailbox where you agreed to meet the police with the 911 operator? So he had many opportunities to back off and do what he was empowered to do as either a neighborhood watchman or a concerned citizen, and that is to observe, watch, look. pass on information, snitch, whatever you want to call it. So that right there, I believe, this whole 911 call and all the little details within it proves beyond a shadow of a doubt what we are trying to prove. It proves a profiling of the individual by what the person was wearing and their race and their age. It proves that he overstepped his bounds in whatever capacity he's in, because one time they trying to say he was acting as neighborhood watch, now they trying to say he's not acting, he was just going to the store. Regardless, as a neighborhood watchman or just as a concerned citizen going to the store, you pursued someone that you believe to be suspicious, dangerous, whatever you want to call it. You thought there was a problem, there was break-ins in your neighborhood. Then you do what you were empowered to do in whatever capacity you would acting in, whether it be neighborhood watchman or concerned citizen, and that was only to watch, observe, and pass the information on to the police. But he ignored that. We can tell from the phone call and the sounds and him moving and the fact that he didn't want to wait by the mailbox. We can take that, I believe, as that he was still pursuing. And we can also take that as a fact because ultimately he was not in these places where he said he was going to be. He wasn't by the mailbox. He wasn't by his car. He wasn't at the main entrance. He was somehow got in contact with Trayvon, who was trying to get away by the fact of him coming towards him, seeing who was following him, and then running in flight. Which we would assume, most average person would assume, a person running away from me, I have no fear of them. What are they running away from me for? They must be afraid of me, especially when I know that it's a child or a teenager, older teenager, whatever. Do the right thing. This man is guilty. We'll be watching. April 10th. Continue. Peace.